Welcome back to another video. Today I got the timing sprocket, the chain, and the guide install. But if you guys remember on our last video, we are still missing one of the O-ring inside of the timing cover, so we can't install the timing cover yet. But what I want to give you guys a recommendation or a tip is that while you have this install, take your timing cover, make sure it's nice and clean. Don't install any RTV, don't install any of the O-ring yet, and just pre-fit it. Just pre-fit it and see if you're gonna have any issue, and just give yourself an idea how it's gonna go in. Because one of the things that's gonna give you a little bit of struggle is the gear for the oil pump. It has to line up to fit inside. So right now it's lined up, and you want to do that first, have it lined up, and then once you remove it, leave the gear the way it is. Don't touch that gear. So when you are ready, you can go ahead and put the O-ring, the RTV, and then the timing cover is going to go in nice and smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it for you. So we're just going to go ahead and remove it back out, just like that. And the gear that I'm talking about is right here. So this gear here, it needs to go inside of there. So you want to go ahead and, like I say, get it pre-fit it first. And if it doesn't go in, all you have to do is either spin this gear or spin that gear down there until they line up. And then once you're good with that, you can go ahead and put your two O-ring, the big one, the small one, and then put your RTV. So this is what it looks like. The new guys, the new sprocket, the new chain. Make sure your chain is aligned up with the proper alignment on the sprocket and on the bottom. You don't just slap it on like how you would with the bike chain. The chain has to go on in a particular way. So I just went back ahead and pre-tested again, and everything goes in nice and smooth. I'm gonna go and leave the timing cover just the way it is. It's not buttoned up, it's just hanging out in there. And once the O-ring comes in, I'll go ahead and put the O-ring, RTV, and slap this together. While you're there, you might as well check all the bolts and make sure you know where the bolt goes. When I order all my timing chain parts, I ordered this rubber gasket, this O-ring, 96761244042. But for some reason they weren't able to fulfill it, so we're missing this O-ring, and I had to order this from a separate company. So it's this one here. I went ahead and ordered two, and that's the big O-ring that goes inside the coolant passage for the timing cover. So now that we have this, we can go ahead and install the timing cover and then button up the bottom end of the oil pan and go from there. You have the big one, which is coolant, and then the small one, which is oil. So you want to make sure it's nice and sitting there. And then we'll go ahead and get the RTV out and start applying it to it. Here we go. Cylinder head install. See if I can do this with one motion. Nice thing about this V6 is that there's lots of room on this side to get inside the engine bay. Super sketchy. Okay. Don't drop anything. Whew. Oh. Okay. It's in. Oh. Oh, that's easier than I thought. Wow. All right. The head is on. That was much easier than I thought. I was overthinking it. Okay, so now we're ready for the head bolt, guys. Super early, my hands are still frozen. Let me double check. All right, cylinder head is on. Yep, we're on. So there's a dowel pin and a dowel pin, and when it's on, it shouldn't be able to move anywhere. So looks like we're good. Perfect. I went ahead and installed the ARP head stud. I went and used the lubricant on the stud that goes into the block, and now we are just hand tightening them using hand tight. And then after that, we'll go ahead and torque it down. We're gonna do 3 passes, 25 foot-pound, 55 foot-pound, and then our final, which is 80 foot-pound. So this is different from using Toyota heads. We're not doing the whole 90-degree turn, but we are still using the same sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, working the pattern out. So make sure you guys follow the manual book. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done, and I'll bring you guys back up here in a bit. I don't know how I missed this during my preparation, but the ARP studs that I got, the nut is a 12 point, but it's not a 12 mil 12 point. So the Toyota head bolts are 12 mil, but they're 12 points. And I only have a 12 mil and a 14 mil and 12 points. So I think the ARP nuts are 13 mil 12 points. So I brought one of the nuts with me, and I'm gonna run down to Lowe's real quick and get the right socket before we can torque it all day. Another tip is that if you're installing the cylinder head onto the engine in the engine bay, and then you put the ARP studs in, make sure you buy yourself a long T-handle Allen wrench, because I had just the regular small Allen wrench, and it was doable, but it would have been nicer with the long T-handle to help spin the studs into the block faster. But it's up to you, but it did work perfectly for what I had. This right here is the ARP nut. You can see here it's a 12 point, and I believe it's 13 mil, not 12 mil. Yep, the secret is a 13 mil half-inch drive, 12 point, $6. 55 foot-pound, we're on the second phase. 6, 7. I have all my head bolts labeled, so I know which order to go on. We're on 7. 55, number 8. I prefer this method versus the Toyota method where you do the 90-degree turn. 8, 9. So let me go ahead and finish this up, guys. Once we're done with this, we'll go ahead and do the exhaust cam, intake cam, and then we can go ahead and start doing all the intake and manifold side. So that's fun. 10, 11 over here. 11 is way far back over here. Perfect. This is my second time doing a head gasket. First time was a 3RZ. So maybe a few more head gasket and I'll be a certified master. 13 is the farthest over here on the exhaust end. And 14 is the farthest up front. This is the last one. Now we go into our last phase. We have to do one more time. same pattern. And this is our last one, so we go to 80. So 60, 70, 80. There goes 80 right there. Damn. Bam. Oh, nice and tight. Much easier to do 80 foot-pound when the engine is in the truck. That's one nice thing. You have leverage. If you guys have never done a head gasket, make sure that you guys gotta remember that this is very important. The sequence, the torque sequence, and the pounds. Six right here. You don't want to do this by hand. Can't roll like that, guys. Damn, these ARP. 9. I like that this engine bay, the 1FZ engine bay, once you remove the exhaust side, there's lots of room over here, so that's really nice. All right, so 9 is tight. 10. Ooh, 11. So the last person that did this, number 13, was really loose. Number 13 wasn't torqued all the way down when I took it out. So that's why we're getting a lot of exhaust leak over there. So hopefully this time the engine's gonna run nice and good, hopefully. 12, 13, all right, almost done. Ooh, 14, baby, last one. Or not the last one yet. 14, here we go, baby. I'm using my knee for leverage. All right, so we are done with the head bolts. Man, that looks good. This thing is bolted on good. All right, double check. And then, so once you're done with the head bolts, you have 2 bolts right here that goes into the timing cover. They are 12 mil, and don't forget these guys. These guys, they only get torqued down to 15 foot-pounds, so don't strip them. So 2 bolts right here to make sure you guys don't forget these. I'll go ahead and do that right now. All right, almost done here, guys. Almost done with the head, actually. And whenever you're done with your torque wrench, you always want to go ahead and back them back out, put them back to 0. Okay, everyone, so the next thing we're gonna do now is, since we have the head bolts installed, I'm gonna go ahead and install all the valve caps. If you guys remember this, we labeled them exhaust 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14, 12, whatever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install them one at a time, and then, or I'm gonna wipe them off first. I'm gonna wipe off the lettering with acetone, and then I'm gonna put some lube in here, and then after we're done, we'll put some lube on top. We're using Ultra Slick Assembly Lube. If you don't have this, you can just use motor oil. So let me go ahead and get this done. We got 24 valve caps, 12 on each side. So make sure you know which one's one. Intake, exhaust. So I'm actually gonna put some motor oil. I'm just gonna put some motor oil down in the valve stem area, and then I'll just erase these, so it makes it easier. Just like a nice drip. So this is one. Make sure I don't forget that. You know, 5 years ago, I thought I wouldn't be able to do this. I thought I wouldn't know how, but man, the internet is full of knowledge, man. If you're willing to learn, man, anything is possible. If I can do it, you can do it, man. And I have Tourette's too. If I have Tourette's and I'm able to do this, you can do this too, man. As long as you have the willing to learn, anything's possible in this world. So that's oil, but then on the valves, on top of the valve shims, and when the cam goes to, I'll use a similar lube for that. So let me put some acetone. Acetone is really good for cleaning off markers, anything like that in general. So that was I1, intake 1. Now we're on intake 2. Wipe that off nice and clean. Intake 2. I don't want to start dropping these. I3. Whew. Acetone is super strong, guys. Sometimes they're kind of tricky to get in, so he can. I4, I5. I got my first cam in there, guys. The intake is in, and I still got to torque them all to spec. Big shout out to Matthew. You guys might have seen his truck, the red Toyota pickup, solid axle diesel. He's a diesel mechanic, so he has all these nice tools. And I asked him if I can borrow his torque wrench, and this torque wrench does up to 600 foot-pounds. It's a 3-piece, 1, 2, 3. I want to say it's about maybe 3 foot tall. So we're gonna go ahead and torque the crank pulley, and then I also have the crank pulley holder. Wow, that was easier than I thought, man. It's crazy how easy things are when you have the right tools. So here's how I did it. It's easy because I had the holder, and then you put the 1/2-inch socket in here under the frame, and then when you try to torque it clockwise, this piece holds this piece from turning. So if anyone in town is doing their 1FZ and you guys need to borrow a crank holder, feel free to let me know, man. I'll be more than happy to lend this out, because I'm only gonna use this once in a while. And this torque wrench here, I don't want to go buy one because this torque wrench is like at least $300-400. So big shout out to Matthew, man. Make sure you guys follow his bill. He's a diesel mechanic, man. So hit him up. All right, taking the time to just double check everything. Went ahead and checked all my bearing caps. I also did my valve adjustment. Everything seems to be in spec. Timing chain, distributor gear is Titan. New cam chain tensioner with new gasket. Went ahead and 304 foot-pound on the crank pulley bolt. Super important. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start installing everything on the exhaust side, because I know that's gonna be easy. And then after that, we'll go ahead and tackle the intake side, and then we'll go ahead and tackle the front radiators and all that stuff. So we're gonna go from 1, 2, and 3, and then top. Fun stuff, man. New donut gasket for the downpipe. Toyota OEM gasket for the exhaust manifold. Man, super excited, guys. We're gonna go ahead and clean this off and then go from there. Exhaust manifold all bolted up. Water pump in. Is that the right way? That's the right way. Water pump in, or thermostat in, and then water prints on. And I gotta get the coolant, the hard line from down there. And then we're pretty much done with this side. This can go on now. The heat shield, these guys are like $100 a piece, man. When I bought the vehicle, it didn't come with them. So if you guys have these, make sure you guys don't throw them away. So I went ahead and double nut it, because these nuts aren't the locking nuts. So I double nutted them, so hopefully it should be good. Holy smoke. The valve cover is on, distributor is on. We have to do exhaust size is pretty much finished, except for the air filter, and we'll do that last. But man, check out how shiny this is, man. It is so gorgeous. I just love looking at a new engine, or not a new engine, but a newly slightly rebuilt. Everything's all nice and aluminum. Okay, back to work. I'll see you guys in a bit. I've been wrenching since about 10 a.m. It's about 3 p.m. right now. Just taking my time. Everything's going in smooth. no issue so far. The only complaint, like I said, is just the lower intake bolts. The two bottom ones down there are pretty hard to, so I have everything buttoned up here. We're gonna go ahead and jack up the tire, the driver tire, remove the tire, and then try to access stuff on the bottom. We still have to tighten the fuel rails, the fuel line to the fuel filter, 2 of them, the input and the output. And then we have to connect this water hose. This one goes to the coolant throttle body, and then connect the pesky heater hose. And then after that, we can button up the upper intake manifold. And for the most part, everything looks good. New oil filter. Once I have everything buttoned up, I'll go ahead and spray this down with some brake cleaner. So new fuel filter, new air oil filter. Injectors has been slightly rebuilt with new rubbers, and everything looks good. EGR deleted, so we don't have that that stuff anymore. And then I also have to bleed out I have to flush the heater core once we're finalized. So getting close to finish. And then we have the front end will be last. All the radiator and stuff, but it should be really easy. The radiator is easy because I removed the AC and all the condenser hose. So all new rubber hose. These are all new seals inside, new rubber. Everything's new. Anything that's rubber is new. And the water pump in, I love it. It looks pretty. And then the valve has been closed up. Super beautiful. Wow, I am just so happy with myself. 4:30 p.m. Working since AM now, and we have almost everything buttoned up. Lower, topper, heater hose. Man, so awesome. Just got done putting all the plugs and wires, spark plugs in, and now we have the throttle body, air element over here, and then radiator, and then that's pretty much it. It has some coolant, oil. And I think I won't start it till tomorrow because I want to let all the gas get clear. So I'll go ahead and wait till tomorrow, and then we'll start adding fluid. But such an amazing feeling when you do your own work and just know that's done right. The time is 7 p.m. I finally ate some lunch, dinner, breakfast. Been working all day, haven't ate nothing, drink 1 bottle of water. And that's just how I am. When I'm just so in tune into something, I just go. So here's the plan, guys. Everything's all done. I just need to hook up the battery. Hook up the battery, and then the 2 heater hose. The 2 heater hose inlet and outlet, they're not connected yet because I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to flush it because it might get cold tonight, and I just don't want any of the water to freeze up tonight. And also I don't want to start it tonight yet. So I'm gonna flush the heater core tomorrow and then hook those up, and then I'll go ahead and top off the coolant. I haven't added oil yet. I still need to go tighten up my front dry line because I haven't bolted that up yet. It's just loosely tightened up. And then I also have to install the drag link. The drag link and the tie rod from our past video. We went ahead and put new tie rod ends. So I got to do that, and then we'll have our first start tomorrow. And if everything goes well, if there's no leaks and all, then we'll go for a test dry, and most likely we'll have to go do an alignment. So that is the plan. Everything's all nice and buttoned up down here. Man, I'm just so exhausted, but I'm just so proud of myself. It's so beautiful, man. I'm not gonna put on the grill yet because I have to do some work on the winch. I got the that's for another video. I'll make a video about that, but I gotta do something with the winch, so I'm not gonna put the grill yet. The grill is super simple. It's held up by 4 Phillips bolts. And you guys see how easy it is to access the radiator now with the that AC condenser out. So we went ahead and used the old radiator because AutoZone, they couldn't fulfill my order. So we went ahead and used the old radiator, and we're just gonna run with it for now. maybe this summer I'll go ahead and swap it out. During the process of removing the fan shroud and just moving things around, I broke this. I tried to JB weld it, but I was in a rush and I didn't do a pretty good job. But I'll go ahead and get some new JB weld or something that's like plastic and fix this up. But so far everything's holding intact. So quick recap: new thermostat, new hoses, new water pump, new Toyota belts, oil pump. It's been sealed. We went with a new alternator because the other one was still good, but then we messed that up. Spark plug wires, cap distributor, they're still new from last time from tune-up. New spark plug. We went with the new hose. It's so crazy how amazing these hoses are. Look how smooth they are. If you're to go fill your 30-year-old hose, they're all hardened, but these guys are all new. Everything got new gasket, throttle body, intake, manifold, exhaust, all new gasket down here. And man, I'm just super stoked. So stay tuned. We'll go ahead and do a first start tomorrow. The new drag link tie rod, and I went and bought a new NuttyNu SD24 stabilizer. This one had an NuttyNu stabilizer, but I felt like that one was out of service, so I went ahead and got a new one. It's all nice and fresh. So tomorrow, the tie rods, they're not torqued down yet because I want to adjust them tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead and save that for another day too. Besides hooking up the heater core wires and flushing it and adding oil, this engine is completely put back together. Time to cut the ribbon. Wow, what an amazing day. This is the 1FZ sticker. When I bought this, it didn't come with one, so let's put it right here, nice and high. Right there. What an amazing day. Look at that. 1FZFE. Beautiful. Beautiful, man. I'm just so happy. We can't celebrate too early, man. I want to make sure we start it and nothing goes crazy. No leaks, no knocks, no ticks. That's like the worst thing when you do these engine builds or repair, whatever you want to call them. When you get time to start and you don't want to hear a knock, you don't want to hear leaking. Did I miss something? Did I miss a bolt? So that's gonna end the night for tonight. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning for a fresh start.